So hi, my name is Shahirah. I am an Arab American artist living in Syracuse. I'm originally from East Tennessee. I'm really excited to share some of these poems with you. For this first one, a little bit of background. In 1974, a paleoanthropologist discovered evidence of a fossil that showed a link between humans and apes, and Australopithecus afarensis named Lucy. So this is called My Ancestors Evolved into a Crybaby. Juice from the orange trickles under my fingernails, stains temporarily. Knife grasped firmly tears through the flesh of raw chicken. This once was alive. In the basement of my childhood museum, Lucy stands tall at me. She's quite short, actually. She once was alive. Our moments are fleeting. How does the universe decide who lives forever? The husk where eyes once blinked stares into me, leaves me feeling cold, uncomfortable. Upstairs, I color a picture intended for children. Let the wax of crayons mold between my fingers and wild turkey necklace. Stare at the ceiling, lights temporarily blind me. Laugh at knotweed and pipes. These are distractions. Sprinkle the parsley in the skillet, let it marry the half-sauteed chicken and garlic. The image of Lucy is permanently etched on the backs of my eyelids. All bone, no sinew, no fat, no hair. Why do I feel guilty that she's dead? My baby brother sneezes. Saha, ya Habib. I hope that his perfection lasts an eternity, that the universe chooses to remember him the way they choose to remember Lucy. Remarkable. This next one is about my hometown. It says Chapman Highway, South Knoxville at 1 a.m. You hold my heart. Nobody on the streets, just you and me, baby, and the glitchy lights on the left side of Henley Street Bridge. Go down the hill. That Arby's and that Shoney's have been there forever. I miss Disc Exchange, wince at the wee care shop that replaced it. The bend at Martin Mill Pike, I know it like the creases of my palm. The spy shop and the comic book store, both of them are gone now. Indoor flea market that was once a Big Lots that was once a Food City, which was once a Bi-Lo next to the eye surgeon that was once a women's fitness center. South Knoxville Public Library, where I received my first piece of plastic, pinpoint location where I became addicted. The stretch of trees afterwards looms over my anxiety. Quadruple scoop cone in the sky marks the road my childhood home rests. The restaurant there is dead now. Everything dies in South Knoxville. One day, so will I. This is called Formaldehyde. I only know how to make messes. Graceful isn't part of my vernacular. I long to be tidy, I don't know how to be elegant. At every meal, I drop my fork, wipe my mouth, carry napkins in my bag at each occasion. Everything's chaotic and here I am, and I crack open my ribs and oh God, there's blood pouring out like moonlight, seeping everywhere, and my imperfections are splayed open for the world to admire. When I die, don't coat my body in formaldehyde. Let my body rot in the cool earth. It's from the earth I rose, to the earth I return. This and the next one I think are sister poems. This is Full of Bitter Summer. Bright peach juice dribbles down chin and elbow. You're awake, standing over the sink for a different reason this time. Brain wants to force quit and you'll give it another taste soon. For now, other inhabitants of this body have requests that need filled. You are alone and you haven't been outside in 3 days despite the sun's remarkable presence. You're still learning. You don't need permission to be happy instead of locked away. And this is the grief that hasn't set in yet. I'm still learning. I have control over this one fragile life. For 2 weeks straight, the first baby to new parents wailed inconsolable. 3 trips to the emergency room, several doctor's visits, and still no answer. For 6 months prior, a grandmother's voice provided comfort, then one day returned to Florida. I am the geese that fly back home every spring, a soul that insists on wander, daydreaming about freedom and chooses to be crushed by inertia. In many ways, I'm still that baby, crying about missing her grandmother. This is on my 800-mile drive home. On my 800-mile drive home, I say a Hail Mary for every dead deer I see on the side of the interstate. Breathy whispers out loud to no one, or sometimes just in my head to me or God. I don't know if I believe in a God, but in case there is one, I want them to bring the deer comfort. This is a land that belonged to them long before the rolling of cars on sprawling asphalt. Forgive them for mistaking high beams for stars. And then this is my last one. It's inspired by, I was back home visiting my family, and my sister is 18. We were downtown, and I was just pointing out like different areas where I had experiences as a teenager. And she had said something along the lines of, oh, like you would be the protagonist, like dream girl love interest in a John Green novel. So this is called John Green Writes Books About Girls Like Me. About girls who have their first kisses in the back of the World's Fair Park amphitheater. Girls who are fascinated by World's Fairs and go to the top of the sun sphere alone to feel smaller than they already are. Girls with iPod head boyfriends since radio died. Girls with half of a mother tongue. Girls who are sometimes not. Girls with the most unique two truths and a lie on Hinge. Girls in high-waisted floral shorts from the Urban Outfitters clearance rack 11 years ago. Girls crying seeing Van Gogh sunflowers in an art museum in DC. Girls sitting alone in coffee shops every Sunday in summer. Girls daydreaming about love even when it's right in front of them. Girls who cut their bangs with craft scissors over the bathroom sink at 1 a.m. Girls who take razors to their skin to remember they exist. Girls who smoke in the park, who sleep in the greenery. Girls who should be on a suicide watch when they seem especially well. Girls with complex relationships with men. Girls who have never had sex on their own terms. Girls who yearn for a soulmate but cannot imagine living with another person forever. Girls who leave craft supplies on the living room floor for weeks because they can. Girls who move across the country in an attempt to escape. Girls who can never truly get away. Girls with a ravine of guilt in their hearts. Girls who sometimes cannot breathe under the weight of love and loss and longing. Girls who know they'll never be good enough, but still they try. Girls who know they should walk away and still they stay the night. Thank you all so much.
Hello, my name is Bailey Bramer. I'm a writer and poet, currently out of Palm Harbor, Florida, but I grew up in California, and I'm going to school at Ithaca College. I'm a writing and art double major, and I'm going to be reading some of my poetry for you all today. I'm going to begin with a piece that I wrote last year, and it was one of my first pieces of college that, I don't know, I thought was okay, and I've worked since, and that was, always a lovely experience to have. This is Leaving Home. For weeks before my journey, I feared I would miss my train. I was not sure when it would come. I knew I'd be subject to a long goodbye, as long journeys often are, but I needn't have worried. I heard it, scraping down the iron. So I said goodbye to my mother and father, to my sisters, brothers, and friends of all kind, and came to the station right on time. I was given no ticket, I needed it not. The coachman and I were acquainted. He greeted me as the train halted, took my hands in his, and led me to my seat. There I slept, gently rocked by the tracks. So I'm from, I was born in California, and I think that one of the main things about California that really that impacted me was the forest fires. I have two pieces in here about forest fires. They definitely got worse throughout my life, and I left before I was very lucky to never be significantly impacted in terms of my house being burnt down, but every year it was very normal for all the power to be shut off and the sky to turn red. It's the only time of year that California grass is green, because the contrast of the sky and the ground makes it look really alive, which is very rare for California. But this poem is looking at an idea a little bit earlier in my life when I was quite young. This is Wishing to Burn. Grandmother used to console me whenever I would cry at burnt trees stood on the side of the road. She would tell me that burning gave new life. It awoke seeds that would otherwise lie dormant in pine cone wombs. I would wish for fire, to burn away the imperfections I was so sure held me in place. I was so sure stopped my bloom. But fire never came, and skin only grew thicker. So I learned to grow without fire, a birth without destruction. The other part of my California upbringing that really impacted me was the ocean. I was very lucky to live by the ocean for a good part of my life, being from California and Florida. And my dad, when growing up, would always give the advice of, you never turn your back on the ocean, which is great advice, especially when you're dealing with the Pacific Ocean. But I think that reigns, I think that I tie a lot of ocean ideas and ocean imagery into my life, and especially my relationship with my parents. So this is the sea, my father. Sandcastle girl, saltwater father, wash her away with your tide. Take what she's built with your wetted sand and pull it back to hide. Sandcastle girl, saltwater father, hit her again with your wave. Knock her down low, perhaps just to show the sun won't shine again. This is a bit of a newer one. It's called Crab Apple. Not soft or sweet, but hard and bitter. Not crimson red or virescent green, but yellowing brown. Not picked, unless perhaps she is grinded down and bottled up and left to ferment into something sweeter. This is my other one about forest fires. Very fun, I know. This is about an experience that I had. A close friend from my childhood, her grandmother's farm burned down in one of the forest fires, and I hadn't been back to the farm since I was a toddler, and so I had a very, warped toddler view of what this farm was supposed to look like. And so to already not have a very clear view of what something is supposed to look like and go in and everything is just burned is a very strange experience. And this is attempting to describe what that's like in some way. After the fire, all I see: black, jet black, pure black, darker than the night sky black. How do you come back from that black? You took a small chunk of charcoal off a nearby tree, professional artist quality black, smudged stark on the white page. Where the house once stood, black. What do you mean you lived here black? The only evidence of what was there, the stone fireplace you used to play fairy princess on. Outside, as far as the eye could see, black. How can one guy do this, Black? How could you be so stupid, Black? The ground crackled underfoot, Black. How does this happen, Black? Why couldn't you stop this, Black? Where do we go from here, Black? It's Mother's Day, and I'm very sad to be a pretty good distance from my mom in Florida. This is a piece that I wrote for her that I thought was very beautiful about our relationship. And when I read it to her, she was appalled that I would write something so disgusting about her. I'll let you decide. This is Artichoke. The heart is the best part, Mother always said. But you were bereaved to peel the way to such a reward. Sucking spiky leaves, she would guide your hands to the treasured core. Soft hands, sharp leaves. Melted butter, coating soft green underbellies, surface scraped of flesh. You didn't eat enough before discarding the leaf, so Mother was left to suck them dry. The heart was hairy, spiny tendrils sticking to your skin, too tired to collect your reward. Mother took the heart, slipped nail beneath skin, peeled away the scratchy scalp, returning tender heart to you. This is my last piece. Thank you all so much for being here. It's an honor to be able to read for such a large group of people. This is No Island. I ripped up my roots and flooded my feet to sweep myself far away on the breeze. But now it is still, and despite standing tall, I know I am weaker for leaving you all. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Carolyn Clark, and it's a nice segue with the ocean. I'll start off with new poems from QWERTY, a book that I actually self-published for the first time after publishing 6 books elsewhere. So thanks to local people who helped me with that. These are typewriter poems, and they come from copies that are carbon. So if you do get this at Buffalo Street Books, there's some inserts so that you can read a few of them that are very faint, and that makes it easier for you. The first one is called Bem for Puerto Rico. A bem is a poem too, make no mistake. In the language of typewriters, there's nothing to fake. Make a typo become you. Take the island and go. The shore that awaits you is eroding so slow. A bem is not found anywhere else. It was meant to be poem, but the keys were off course. So a new word evolved. Pristine and proud, like an island nation, its music is loud. Because the waves of the world will keep it unique, and a love that it fosters, all tunes can speak. That was written for a man who went by with Cornell swag at Farmers Market, where I work Sundays. A whole group of people from Puerto Rico celebrating their son's graduation. I was like, I gotta write you a poem. So that was fun, because when I looked up the word bem, it actually exists, and I had no idea. And it means a native song, and it's from Puerto Rico. I was like, how did that happen? Okay, here's the other one that I like, for my mom especially, but this one actually is a photograph someone showed me in DeWitt Park, a man coming by with a picture of his boyfriend, a very lovely photograph. Morning wake up, and the hydrangeas looking for the light, embracing the backlight, my boyfriend pillowed on his tummy, blue flowers climbing, blue walls and windows there to support, and we open the moments to that don't fall. It is early summer, Roots are deep and drinking in the earth's solace. Anticipation, the unfailing eye. Here's one I had fun with, a young woman who came by, and she'd been traveling a lot, as many people at Farmers Market do. She was from an island of Paros, where I had been as a child. Well, I was 18 when I was first there. Allô, allô? Qui est-ce? Eleanor, c'est moi. De Paros, es-tu? Je viens partout. I come from the ocean, same as you. Voices of mermaids. Your name, Allelu, Allelu. Coasting the coasters, rolling in the sand, surfing one's body, walking hand in hand. Voices of travelers, lingering long, wishing return, yet longing to belong. Pourquoi? Pour longtemps? Depuis quand? Ça n'importe pas. The song in your heart dances along whitewashed alleys, courses through your body, keeps love alive. Allô, allô, Eleanor, c'est moi, us. This one is another poem by request. These are all produced in 20 minutes. When people walk away, they come back with a poem. Solving the world's dissolutions one child at a time, one key strike too. This was the way of a father of mine. Summer was a way of unfolding, camp in the forest foundation, mine too. A world apart, the woods and glens of Ithaca kept me from olding, kept me young and like a wood sprite with leaf-racing sailboats underway where love and time meet, a place we can stay. Typing slowly, listen to the pastor dad, whose life's goal was to give us solutions inside each far-reaching child, a longing to be part of the earth's comb. I like that one because the young woman who asked for it, she said, my dad's a pastor. And I was thinking, my dad was not a pastor. But I kind of projected my own dad and hers, and they merged together. This one is about a letter opener I received from my parents a long time ago. It's smooth ivory with an elephant's tooth. I feel bad that it's ivory, but it's also about love. Open-ended. Each day and dusky evening, your arms enfold me, slip in, the letter snug, enveloped in your deliberate, patient love. How can words find their way through the tangled inscape to emerge, breathless, imprinted? Because your heart is so open for us. We grow from inside out. I too thank you for being here. There, I've said it. My letter opener, how you soothe. I read that to my husband on the way here because it's really about it. This one was more for a person who looked like someone from Roma, stopped by with this incredible scarf. And I was writing about my mother too, who loves scarves. A wandering scarf. Roses climb walls faster than waterfalls can make their way back down. Change clings to hair, wind strong bindweed there, here and there. Morning glories know best how to keep silver dew wet, how to host the best plants and yet not kill them with a twist, because they linger in tall weeds near pastures shredded dreams, where the silvery jewels spread fairy nets for morning sleepyheads. While roses continue to climb a clock tower made of time, the one that chimes in, a way that ties the scarf tight, sweet dreams at night. And thankfully my voice is a little better than sometimes. I often get laryngitis. I think it's just stress from reading. So I never did learn to be a singer, but some of my songs are now songs Poems are now songs, so I'm working that out. Here's one, I'll have two more very short ones. Always Come Back is a poem I wrote for someone who's moving to Florida. She was a bartender at Argos, and maybe she'll come back. Nostalgia is not just a word, it's a place, a destination. Nostos in ancient Greek transliterates to homesick. It will be forward anyway. The time will change so much, but not really you. You are the traveler, translucent, reluctantly leaving, gambling on the future where it takes you a long ride. But home is where the heart is. Cliché, I know, but for a reason untreasonous, bold, it never grows old. So, the love poem at the end, and then a quick little puzzle for you to walk away with. Crisp as an apple and twice as cool, you are thrice special, magic to me, softly enchanting, Ashley, Ashley. No words diced, no semicolon needed in this run-on sentence we share. Sentience, redoubled by feeling, that wonderful feeling of being with you. And that was written for a young lady who, she said, I don't know how to tell my friend how I love her. And I was like, I'll try. This one was someone wanted a poem about an ocean creature, which I happen to know a lot about from walking on docks in North Carolina a long time ago at night with a flashlight. You have to guess what it is. They always give me one word if they want to, and I was like, I'll weave it. From ocean to shore, night flying is best for me, where wings rest and strum, the dark, deep darkness buoyant, the dock lights hum. My eyes look upward always, my body undulates too. There is no wave I cannot feel when I encircle you.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Augusto, and I just want to say it's a privilege to be reading among such talented authors. Today I'm going to be reading Voyage Story, which is a piece of fiction that is in the Whimsy anthology. So I was very happy that they were able to publish my work. I won't read the whole thing, but if you want to know the whole story, you can purchase the book at Buffalo Books, Buffalo Street Books, or elsewhere. It's online too. So a little preface for the story. This is a story about a boy having a dream in which he has a companion who is a horse made of clouds. And as in the way of dreams, the boy did not remember how he came to be there or why he was there to begin with, but he was there among the clouds, and you could feel the wind viscerally, fluttering the scarf of his navy blue Boy Scout's uniform, whooshing past his gangly arms and legs, cool and full of trepidation. There was the moon, this he will remember, pallid, white, and ghostly, bathing the endless landscape in ethereal light, so that everything was aglow like a specter, and he alone stood underneath the endless vast of darkness and stars lost in uncertainty. A witness to nothing. Yet he knew he was in the dream. But soon there was a sound like a beating drum thundering through the expanse, and as in the way of dreams, the clouds reshaped themselves, their vaporous forms yielding to the appearance of a magnificent steed, pearly white with a mane and tail of air and light, with eyes that shone blacker than the blackest acai berry, and legs that were as long as the sadness of life. And the wind was in its mane, and the horse glided to him like cold water, and pressed his snout against the boy's cheek tenderly, and the boy knew the horse and loved it all at once, deeply. Dream, said the boy, for he knew that to be the horse's name, for it resonated inside him like an old song he heard so often. It sang itself to him without provocation or cause. was. I came here to look for something, but I forgot what it was. You will remember in time, dearest dreamer. Do you remember your name? The boy thought and thought, but this he couldn't remember either. He became frustrated and kicked at the ethereal mist at his feet, only to see it wisp away in the sheep of countless dandelion puffs, hovering away in the wind into the endless night. The horse, named Dream, touched his forehead to the boy's tenderly, and the boy embraced the dream and began to cry. Do not be sad, dearest dreamer, spoke the dream. Your name is your own to shape yourself, as is the water and the winds and the clouds in the night sky, and the yellow of the mangoes on the tree, and the loneliness that we all carry in our hearts. For I am your dream. So the boy made up his name on the spot. Voyage, he said. My name is Voyage. They galloped through the land. On the back of his horse made of clouds, Voyage clung to the dream. They charged through rolling hills of green, whispering rivers, flowery vales, through mountain and forest, across desert and sea, over day and through the night, and on they went, until they came to a snowy white expanse, where the motes of soft-fallen snow hung frozen in the air like ornaments in a singular black tree, barren as the dream's dark eyes reached its branches towards the ashen sky, standing silent and sentinel and utterly alone, stark against the infinite pale. Dream, said Voyage, why have you brought me here? Is this what I am looking for? The boy dismounted and brushed away the wisps of snow that hung in the air before him, watched as they turned into butterflies and flitted away. The tree loomed, so big and monumental before him, like an obelisk or a disapproving parent, and yet was impossibly far. Only you can decide that, dearest. I can only take you where you will to go. I feel like something bad has happened here. Perhaps something has. It's cold here, Dream. I'm scared. I don't want to stay. Take me away from this place, as you wish, my dearest. The boy rode his horse made of clouds through the world again. He wanted to ride forever. He wanted the ride to never end. He embraced the horse named Dream around his neck, buried his face in its mane, and whispered, I love you. But whether the dream heard him or not, over the sound of its own thundering hooves, Voyage could not be sure, for the horse made no reply. The sound of beating hoofbeats echoed in the dark and became grinding steel, footsteps, hurried voices, calling, the roar of engines, the vibrations of rumbling industry. They had come at last to a train station where people in vests and long coats carried umbrellas and briefcases, all standing on the platform, waiting for a train that churned down the tracks that wound infinitely into the night. My mother is here, said Voyage, and she was, sitting on a bench with her stitching needle in her hand and his torn stuffed monkey on her lap, and though he couldn't see her face, he remembered when the monkey we named Selmakaku, ripped at the neck, bleeding white stuffing everywhere, and he had panicked where he thought his beloved friend was dead. She is indeed, said the dream. Voyage bounded across the platform to reach her, but with the hiss of steam and a sharp whistle, the train arrived on its tracks at the platform. The conductor yelled, all aboard! And the faceless multitudes of people in their briefcases and umbrellas became a torrent in front of him, and no matter which way he turned and went, there was no passing them. Always one or another got in the way, jostling him about, and he was lost, and lost sight of his mother on the bench, and when he could see it again, she was gone. Dream, he called, for he could not see the horse made of clouds. Dream, help me. I am here, dearest. The voice came from behind him. The boy flung his arms around the dream and wept. Dream, I lost her, cried the boy. She was just here, and I lost her. Take heart, dearest dreamer, said the dream. It is only a dream, after all. I want to wake up again, said the boy. The horse was silent and dropped his head. And the conductor called out to the empty station, last call, all aboard. The boy rushed over to the conductor, who was stepping into the carriage, his hand on the rail, the black of his black shoe on the step that divides the known to the unknown. And as he looked at the boy, his face was familiar, a face he had seen and known before, but he could not place it, as it was the way of dreams. "Mister," said Voyage, "where does this train go?" "It goes beyond," said the man. He tipped his hat with a smile and stepped into the car. The engine gave a hooting cry and bellowed smoke from its chimney, and the wheels began to screech against the track. "Beyond what?" cried the boy as he ran after the train. "Beyond here," said the man, "and everywhere and nowhere." "Is my mom in there?" called the boy. Already the train was beyond reach. He stopped running and he reached the end of the platform. The tracks extended past the station into the murky black void where earth crumbled away to bits of chocolate chip cookie floating in a vacuum, and the train chugged forward into the abyssal dark. "She's waiting for you there," called the man. Voyage could see him waving his cap goodbye. "They all are." He stood and watched the train disappear. He wiped his wet face with the back of his arm. Behind him, he could hear the soft footsteps of the dream approaching. "Dream," said Voyage, "I want to wake up now." "Indeed, you must, though I will miss you terribly." The boy closed his eyes tightly, then he flung them open again. He was still there in the dream. "Can you help me?" "No," said the dream. "I wish I could, my dearest." The boy closed his eyes tightly once again. He inhaled deeply and tried to remember being awake. He tried opening his eyes again, but nothing happened. He heard a rhythmic chime sound around him, like the call of a night bird. He heard susurrant voices, but he could not make out their words, only whispers in the wind. "Why can't I wake up?" "This you must remember." "I don't." "Dearest, you must try. I feel as though something bad has happened." "Perhaps it has." "Just tell me." "Dearest, I wish I could, but you are the dreamer. I am only your dream. I was looking for something. I forgot what it was. Dream, take me away from here. I don't like this place. There's something scary about it." So if you want to read the end of the story, please check out Whimsy in the bookstore. Thank you so much.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for being here. Hi family, hi friends, I see you. I think we have a little bit of time to, I just want to invite folks to stretch or shift around in their chair. I know we've been sitting here for quite a minute. So my name is Yessica Martinez, and how do I introduce myself? I'm originally from Medellin, Colombia, and I migrated to the United States when I was 10 years old. I graduated with a master's in creative writing from Cornell, and I'm currently a writer in residence at the Amy Clampett House, which is where I drove from to come to this reading. Thank you so much for having me. And I would also like to share some poems about mothers, and in honor of Mother's Day. And I want to start with two poems which chronicle my mother's failed attempt to migrate to the United States. They take place in the moment when she returns to Colombia, and they happen in my grandmother's living room. So I'll give that as a bit of background. Crying with near abandon. They deported my mother back to me. On a shore in Punto Fijo, abalone, my seashells slept curled in a shack. She dreamt the tide smuggled her to Florida, that a swirling current cold harbored her to my father in New York. Mother of pearl, mother of tea-reed pearls, big girls bullied you in jail. Chipped, you watched acrylic nails pick at pineapple platters in an Aruban cell. My caracol, a spot-on slug, upholstered on the couch of your mother unshaved, you're in a tantrum tugging at your own skirt. I want to rub your shin bones, they shine, they curve, but you're in your feelings, I don't touch your felt. Babosa, snotty mollusk, a bull-god officer slobbered your passport and chewed it up. Who will glue your face back, your rundown mascara gray stamps, your lip line fleeing with your lips? This next poem is, thank you, Not a Pirate's Visa, a Pirate Song. Jose Espronceda says the sea is his only country. I say, what's the whole sea without a mother to me? My father, would you spare a few dollars so I can pay for my wife's second attempt? I say, Simon says, freeze. There will be no more dollars or bolivares for this trip. No more bootlegged comfort, water, tea. Let me hand my mother a real drink. On the liquor display, Ron Añejo, Buchanan's Black Label. I've made a gallant ship from this wooden furniture. Grandma's embroidered curtains, my sails. I'll skirt the English cruiser fleets with my treasure. I will cut through the mud. Mama, I will fly. Put on my heart patch. I am a pirate and you are kidnapped. So my mom did eventually make it to the United States, and I joined her and my father 2 years after. So after a 2-year separation, that was very painful for all of us. And so the following poem celebrates our reunification. Something you should know for the poem is that my parents used to deliver the New York Times, and they also worked selling jeans on the streets of Queens. And this poem references the song Drift Away, the one that goes, give me the beat, boys, the free myself. Oh, yeah, that song. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. A melody translates me. My parents' paper boys are not out breaking windows, flinging the New York Times from our Honda sky roof. Saturday, no headlines, I'm not in school. Drift away, playing in our prelude. We're cruising, not working down Roosevelt. And though English is a shriveled thumb I suck at, free my soul sings my father. Handsome as a pilot, asks the stewardess for milk, and sweet my mother pours light and give me the beat boy stirs. Acrylic nails, unwrapped sandwiches, ham and cheese. Simple the melody that moves me. A white cloud, not the New York Times, covers the unkind world outside as we who flew separately, nowhere now here, travel together. The big suitcase with our merchandise in the trunk, in the backseat just the small and fitting carry-on. Okay, so the following two poems uplift the experience of working class mothers and women. The first one references Little Amal, which is this giant puppet and performance piece that was created to raise awareness about the refugee experience. I don't know if folks know about it, but interesting thing to look into. And the last one is a poem in 2 parts, which celebrates my grandmother's labor and that of a little girl in the streets of Queens.
What part of Queens?
Corona, Queens?
Okay.
Yeah. Are you from Queens?
Yes, I am. But I'm from St. John's University.
Oh, wow,
So
yeah.
you're closer to the east. The
That's
N
right.
train and the W or the double G.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Oh, I'm glad to know we're in company.
I just had to ask.
Thank you for asking. Moving out and in parts. The country, Trump flags on the side of barns. No Section 8, only single women, my mother crying, scrubbing my new place. You can't just adapt to the smell. The landlord's leg broken, rent $700, the lease breaking, me looking for a subletter. A woman on Facebook Messenger, I'm trying to get back on my 2 feet. Levers and stilts to get my child's custody. Amal, a puppet, a refugee of molded cane and of Syrian origin. Carbon fiber head, arms and legs, looking for a mother. The landlord, a hoarder. I can't have friends over because of the clutter. My mother crying on her way to New York. Me left behind, stored in la pieza del rebrujo. Amal, 3.5 meters, not higher than the cost of living. In the cities she visits, London, Amsterdam, a man, your post is literally illegal. You can't say only women, well, only say the women. I only have a cat and a fish, only a baby. I'm trying to move closer to my only living relative. Me moving out, a mile stored in parts, the mother not found, only the women scramble. This is Ode on Melancholy. My grandma died beatific, her hands pecosas, a white sweater up to her knuckles. In life she hunkered, her hands to her breast pulled onions, they milled mines for arepas, her hands verbena branches that beat her children's pataletas. From La Vereda La Rápida, desembocada in Medellin's plazas, her first hustle, towels, mustard yellows, yew-berry reds, off-white trapitos she displayed and waved, the country in arms, her arms surrendered to the sweat burst from her brow. This evening I eat a brown chocolate bar, sprinkled in cacahuates, chocolate from a vendor selling sweets, a little girl laboring in English, yelling chocolate through milk teeth. By her mother's side, she heckled chocolate, her voice pedaled south. I heard cacao, cocoa in the syllable not dropped. Her grind ground the seedling. I heard the vowels chocad. Chocolate, a reminder of the ESL I mispronounced, pronouncing myself so right. 2 for 5, I've bought this delight, a melancholy we can melt at the mouth, against our palates fine. And if y'all would indulge me, I'm just gonna read one more poem in Spanish for my aunt and her partner who are here. This is a throwback poem I wrote many years ago, that for some reason its energy still calls to me. I think reading it in honor of women who have to move through circumstances of war, obviously centering Palestinian women at the forefront of my mind right now. Mujer de guerra, mujer de guerra, mujer de pies y cadera, mujer nostalgia, tú que llevas tus casas y esa distancia, tanto plomo en tu alma, mujer andante que caminas forzada, cuántas veces quisiste morir para regresar a casa, cuántas casas tienes, mujer, tantas como tus ganas. Volverás, mujer, a tu morada, pa' qué lado del desierto queda casa. Hondo, 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 queda en el fondo, la siento aquí en el pecho muy hondo. Mira cómo la toco, con mi grito hacia el fondo del cañón la toco. Tantos días de sol en el desierto de sol, mi soledad encendida con tantos días de sol, tantos días de cárcel, cuántos días de cárcel, mi soledad prendida en tantos días de cárcel, mujer de guerra, mujer de pies y cadera, vasija abierta, vasija blanda, vasija sin nada, cuántas casas tienes, mujer de guerra, mujer nostalgia, tantas como mis hijos, tantas como sus gritos. ¿Qué puedo hacer yo para que regreses a casa? Dame la tierra entera, dámelo todo, devuélveme nada.